Today in this 2018 Chevrolet Colorado, we'll be having a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster Diode 7 Wire to 6 Wire Flexo-Coil wiring kit, part number RM-15267. Here's what our diodes look like installed. Now the reason you're going to want this wiring harness and diode kit for your vehicle is because when you're flat towing, you need to have a lighting system to stay legal. By utilizing diodes, we can use the factory bulbs in our taillight assemblies and not have to worry about using magnetic tow lights on our vehicle, which can scratch the paint. We simply make a connection between the motorhome and our Colorado, and we'll have our factory lights working for our taillights, our turn signals, and our brake lights. These diodes are great because not only do they utilize the factory bulbs that we already have, but they also prevent the flow of electricity from the motorhome back into the expensive components of the Colorado. So we don't need to worry about any electrical backfeed causing any damage to the vehicle's wiring or computer systems. Now what's great about this kit is that we get a 6-way connector on the front of the vehicle with a nice spring-loaded dust cover to keep the elements out. Now for this particular flat tow setup, we use a Roadmaster EZ4 Base Plate, a Roadmaster Automatic Battery Disconnect, the Roadmaster 7 to 6 Wire Diode Flexo-Coil wiring kit for our lighting system. For our braking system, we use an SMI Stay and Play Duo, and for our tow bar, we use a Roadmaster Falcon 2 tow bar. Depending upon the hitch height of your motorhome, you may or may not need a high-low adapter. We have many different options available for you on our website. And now that we've gone over some features, we'll show you how to get it installed. And so we're at the front of our Colorado now. When we had our fascia off and we did the base plate, we have our 4-pole flat wiring, and it's inside the wire loom that comes with the kit and then goes up and goes into our engine compartment behind our headlight. We just have it resting there right now. We drill 2 holes through our fascia, put some bolts through the bracket and through the bumper, and on the bottom we secured it with some washers and nylon lock nuts. Now we're going to take our 4-pole flat wiring in the front and we'll separate it so we have 4 individual wires. Now we'll take our 4 wires and our dust cover that goes in the back of our 6-way connector, stick the wires through, and we can start making our connections. We'll start with our ground wire, and that'll go to the terminal marked GD, and that'll get our white wire. Now we'll do our left turn signal. That's the terminal marked LT. This is also our left brake light. That gets our yellow wire. We'll do our right turn signal and right brake light. That'll get our green wire. It goes to terminal marked RT. That leaves us with our tail lights. And that goes to terminal marked TM. And that gets our brown wire. And this is what it looks like with all of our connections made. Now we'll take some dielectric grease, which we have available on our website, and we'll flood the back side of the connector. This will help prevent any corrosion from occurring. We'll now take the dust cover, we'll slide it back over our connector until it stops, and we'll take some electrical tape and we'll tape the dust cover to our connector. And we'll keep taping until we cover up all of our colored wires and go back to where our loom is. This will help prevent any water from getting inside or dirt or debris. Now we'll secure our connector to our mounting bracket using the provided hardware. And that gives us a nice solid mount for our 6-way connector. Now we routed our wire to the back of the vehicle. We went alongside the driver's side fender to the side of our fuse box and our battery, and then it goes underneath our brake booster along the wheel liner here. Underneath the vehicle, our wire, you see where it comes over the frame next to our wheel liner, and then it goes into a hole in the frame, and we use a fish wire to pull it towards the back of the vehicle, keeping it inside the frame the entire way. This way it avoids moving parts and sources of heat and won't get damaged by any rocks that get kicked up. And it comes out a hole in the frame at the very end of the frame, right by where the factory hitch and bumper beam is. Now we'll open our tailgate. Now we'll remove our taillight assemblies on both sides by removing the 2 T15 Torx screws that we have. We'll just grab the taillight assembly and pull it away from the vehicle. Now the bulbs that we'll be using will be either the bottom or the top one. I'm going to use the top one So we'll disconnect our bulbs by twisting them out. And we'll pull the wiring harness off the taillight assembly just so we have that sticking out. And we'll set the taillight assembly aside. We're repeating the same process to remove the passenger side assembly. We went ahead and separated our 4 wires just like we did in the front. So we have 4 individual wires. Our yellow and our brown wire, we went over the frame. And once they go over the frame on the driver's side, they go up and out of the tail light pocket. Our green wire, we have secured to our trailer wiring here. Goes over our hitch support, over our spare tire tool tube. Goes over our frame, and then it goes up behind our passenger side taillight hole. The same exact way as it did on the driver's side. Our white wires are ground wire. We need to attach this to our vehicle sheet metal. I'm gonna do it right in this area here. So I'm gonna measure off how much of the wire that we're gonna need, cut off the excess, make sure we hang on to it because we will need it later. Strip back some insulation. We'll take our ring terminal, stick it over the wire, and we'll crimp it into place. And we'll just attach that up there with our provided self-tapping screw. That'll provide us a nice solid ground point. Now we have our headlights turned on, and we're going to determine which one of these 3 wires is for our tail light signal. So I'll take our test light here and probe our wire. Okay, it's the orange wire. Now, we have plenty of room in this area to put our diode in. If we did it up here, only our top bulb will come on. If we were to do it down here, we could actually make the bottom and the top bulb come on if we chose the right wire. But because of the space constraints here, we're only going to do it in this particular area for the top bulb. We turn our headlights off now. So we'll take that orange wire and we'll cut it right here in the middle. And we'll strip back some insulation from both ends. Now on each one of these ends, we're going to crimp on one of our blue connectors. We'll now take our diode pack. The output side, the single end, will go towards our bulb. And the other end will go to one of the inputs, it doesn't matter which one. We'll now take this brown wire, measure off how much we're going to need to connect the diode pack, cut off the excess, we'll keep the excess, we'll strip off insulation from the short end and our excess. We're going to twist the two together. We'll take our yellow spade terminal now, place it over those wires, and we'll crimp it into place. We'll now take the end of the brown wire, that was our excess that we tied in with our spade connector, and our leftover white wire, and we're going to combine the two to extend the wire using a 10 to 12 gauge heat shrink butt connector that we have available on our website. You could use the standard butt connector that comes with the kit for this, but the heat shrink will be more weather resistant. So we'll strip back insulation from both ends, crimp on our butt connector, and we'll use a heat gun, which we have available on our website, to shrink down the connector. We'll now take our extended brown wire and we'll drop it behind our taillight. We'll now take our yellow connector and plug it into the other input side in our diode pack. Now we turned our turn signal on the driver's side. We're going to determine which wires for that. Okay, it's this gray wire here. We'll now cut the gray wire in the middle, strip back our insulation, and we'll crimp on our blue connectors. Take our diode pack, output side will go towards the bulb, and the other side will go towards one of the inputs. Take our yellow wire now, measure off what we're going to need, cut off the excess, strip back our insulation, crimp on our connector, And that'll go to our last input side. And here's what our connections look like on the driver's side. Now we'll reinstall our bulbs into our taillight assembly. We'll push our taillight assembly back into place now. Okay, our brown wire that we extended with the white wire, we routed the same path as a green wire over our passenger side frame and out the taillight opening. Here we have our headlights turned on again, and we'll be on the passenger side determining which wires for our taillight. Okay, it's our orange wire again. We'll cut our orange wire in the middle, strip back our insulation, and we'll crimp on our connectors. Diode pack with output side going towards our bulb, and the other orange wire to one of the inputs. We'll take the extended brown wire, which is white at this end, measure off how much we're going to need, cut off the excess, strip back insulation, and crimp on our connector. That'll go to the other input side. Okay, we have our turn signal turned on again. Want to determine which wire is for that. It's a gray wire. Cut our gray wire in the middle, strip back our insulation, crimp on our connectors. Diode pack with output side going towards our bulb, other end to one of the inputs. Take your green wire now and measure off how much we're going to need, cut off the excess. Strip back some insulation and crimp on our connector. I'll plug that into the other input. And here's what it looks like with all of our connections made on the passenger side. Okay, we'll reinstall our bulbs in our assembly. And now we'll test out our functions. We have ours hooked up to a tester with our 7-way connector to the 6-way coil cord. You can also hook up to your motorhome to do this. All right, we have our tail lights turned on right now. And as you can see, both of those are working. Now we'll try out our left turn signal. That's working. Try out our brake lights now. Both of those are working. And we'll try out our right turn signal. And that's working as well too. And that completes our look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster Diode 7 wire to 6-wire Flexo-Coil wiring kit, part number RM-15267 on this 2018 Chevrolet Colorado.